Hello and welcome once again to another episode of my YouTube channel. Today I'm going on the same kind of premise of living simple and cheap. You couldn't get much simpler than living in a van, and this is the next step I'm actually doing. This is a van I've bought, Mitsubishi Express. Now the reason I bought this, it paid a little bit more than I was really wanting to, but actually it's got some of the work already done for me. So as you may or may not be able to see here behind me, you've got this stuff here, which is the Reflectix kind of style of insulation, which even though it hasn't got air conditioning, it's remarkably cooler in the back here than it is in my truck, which I'm driving around, and I really have to crank on the air conditioning to actually get any decent kind of effect to make the ambient temperature comfortable. The other reason I've bought it is because, as well as having the insulation pre-done, which is laziness on my part, is also a battery bank in the back. Now it's not set up the same style that I would have wanted to, going via the Stephen Harris approved style of actually kind of doing things, which is probably the better way of doing these things. I've opted out the slightly lazy option of having one actually done for me, but I had to jump at the chance really. But on the minus side of things, it will mean that I'm not sure the way that is actually set up, or if it's the proper way of actually doing it. If you want to set up any kind of battery bank system, I suggest you check out, I believe it's battery1234.com. I think Stephen Harris owns most of the 1234 domains in all his energy wisdom. The guy knows what he's talking about, so Stephen, if you're listening, any pointers would be most appreciated. Okay, so what we have here is like a deep cycle marine battery, and instead of the solar, I forget what it's called, the solar gadget that you have to actually isolate the batteries from drawing energy from one to the other, we have here a Red Arc Smart Battery Isolator, as well as a charger to when you actually kind of have it parked for long amounts of time. Generally the idea is they actually should charge each other, and supposedly this little gizmo here, which I'm hoping does the same as I've actually kind of seen it in the Stephen Harris battery bank episode, is to stop the power drain between the two batteries. Now, the minus points about it is that it's not the Stephen Harris style kind of setup, which I do go on about a bit about it, but I'm a little bit in the dark about these things, and having it set up that way means I wouldn't have any questions. But this thing here, as much as it is attached, there's a little bit too much wobble in it for my own liking, and it still moves around. And the last thing I want is something the weight of a bowling ball filled with acid sliding around in the back. I mean, like I said, it is attached, but I think I'm going to have to get a few more bolts in there to make sure it is not moving whatsoever. In fact, the little way that it's actually held in, it doesn't have me overly confident, so I may have to put a box around that to start off with. You can see here I've got the voltmeter, which is reading 12.63, which is reasonable. It's not as good as I hoped. This projector charge thing, like I said, which can be plugged into the mains when not driving around for a while to charge both batteries. Now, the other point of concern is this battery here, which, as you can see, is just moving around. That shouldn't be moving at all. Makes me a little bit nervous. I might have to find some way of actually kind of securing that down. Other than that, this is I'll have the transition between house and van, so this could be interesting times, but we'll see what happens. That's all I can think of now. There's obviously a few minor and major kind of mechanical things I'm going to need to do on it, and I'll just be stealth camping, because as you may or may not be able to detect, doesn't really look like a camper. In fact, I'll be using it as a work vehicle. I'll put a roof rack on the top, have a trailer out the back for taking my trailer around for doing various gardening jobs that I currently do, and in that it doesn't actually look like a camper, I should be able to park it pretty much anywhere. But from a book that I've got in my car, which I'm reading at the moment, which I can't remember the name of it, so let me get it right, which is quite good, recommended also by Stephen Harris, How to Live in the Car, Van, or RV. So there you go, recommended. It's actually not too bad, some good pointers in there, so if you're thinking of doing this, get that book. Anyway, that's hopefully the first of many videos as to what I'm doing with this thing and how I'm adjusting to life in a van.